generally you're going to see the for loop being used to iterate through a list. And what iterate means is just go through a list. So let's make an example list. So we're going to name this example list. And we're going to encase this list, and I'm just going to type in random values. You can do the same. You can try and copy my values if you want, but it's not necessary. I'm just putting some variables in, or some values in here. So in a previous tutorial with the variables, I was showing you guys that if you add like multiple variables here, it's going to unpack, right? And so it's going to try to unpack all of these values, right? But if you just have one, and then if you didn't have enough on either side, if they weren't equal, it would throw an error. But if you're just assigning a single variable here, this is totally fine to do. It's going to assign this entire list to this variable. But if you did like example list var, that would throw an error. You would need as many variables as here because it's going to try and unpack the list. Just as a quick aside. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say for x in example list. What do we want to do? So the way to think about this is basically for each item. So maybe what I'll do is actually to make it a little more understandable, for each number in example list, what do we want to do? So what it's doing is it's creating a variable here, right? Each number now becomes a variable that each step of the way these numbers are being assigned to this variable each number, and obviously example list is corresponding to example list. So we'll hit enter. And if you didn't notice already by now with like the while loop and all that, when you make one of these loops and you hit enter, it automatically tabs it over for you. So if you're coming from like maybe another language or not at all from any programming language, you have to usually do this. Or actually, you don't have to really do it. In Python, you have to do it. You must have this space here. In other languages, typically, you've got like curly braces, and you come down and you could put all you wanted over here, and then most people say you should have good standards, and you should automatically indent it yourself. But it is not necessary in other languages. In Python, it is, but luckily, usually, it's going to automatically indent for you. So it is just fine. So it makes your code pretty automatically. So that's kind of nice. Anyway, so you must have that indentation, and this indentation will apply throughout the entire loop. So in order to get out of that loop, I'll show you in a moment what you would need to do. But for now, let's just say print each number. So we'll save and run that. And as you can see, it just iterated through the entire list in order.